Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Allums Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com! Oh.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1. Yes! No? Maybe so. But, oh yes! That's right, of course! Without a doubt. It's that time again, ladies, gents, and everyone in between. Thank you for joining not only me, but my buds this evening, who will be brought in momentarily to this edition of North American Harness Update, covering many different things, so much so that if you thought that tonight was the show to tune into for my top 10 cheeses list, well, Gouda on you for that. I don't have time to talk about it. We don't have time to talk about a lot of things. Tonight's show, we were originally planning on talking about which lampshades are the best to light on fire, but we simply do not have time for that. Which wheelbarrows are the best for simulating car rides for your kids? Don't have time to talk about that one either. There's so much racing. I bang on my ceiling for emphasis that we just do not have time for this extraneous talk, this minute meaninglessness, this microcosm of the daily experience. We do not have time to convey that. Instead, we have race after race after race after race after race. I'm already exhausted thinking about it, but folks, you do not need to be exhausted, because you're there to sit back and enjoy the ride. That's why I feel like it'd be less stressful to be in the passenger seat of a NASCAR. It'd be a lot more atmospheric, more ambient, if you ask me. You don't have to think about the car driver. Oh, should I drive? Am I supposed to draft behind this guy? Am I supposed to go this way? Oh, fear. You have to worry about that, because you can sit there, you can eat a tuna salad sandwich, you can ask the guy how his day is, and he's going to go, why are you asking about my day? He's going to really panic because he's high-strung. He's a NASCAR driver. But that's what it's like to listen to a podcast, especially a podcast that I host, as I am falling over. Oh, no! You are now buckled in. At least I hope you are. Seatbelts are required for tonight's show. The movement is just going to be too fast that if it comes to a complete stop by any point, by any telephone pole that just so happens to appear on the side of the road, even though it wasn't there in the first place, then there could be collateral damage to both you, yourself, your inner soul, and most importantly, your car. But Mike Prebosi, Rod Allums Jr. join me as they always do every week to help dissect this racing action, including consisting of course, we talked about the Meadowlands Pace. That's going to be happening later in the show. We're going to be covering all the stakes action in the second hour. First hour, we're going to be looking towards some pick fours. Meadowlands 8 pick four for tonight, $50,000 guaranteed pool. I'm looking at it right now. It's on the ground. It's within reach. I think it's within reach. It's a nice sequence. I'm grabbing for it. I hope I can grab it. I'm going to try to grab it. I've got my ticket in. Mike and Rod have theirs too. We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll also be talking about the late pick four for Sunday, July 15th over at Running Aces Casino and Racetrack. Now, folks, the last few weeks, you thought that, $7,500 in this pool, that's a lot of money. There's no possible way it could get. You're wrong! It got even bigger. It got so much huger. $10,000 guaranteed pool in that pick four sequence Sunday, July 15th. And, of course, a reminder, next Sunday, July 22nd, North American Harness Updates live from Running Aces Casino and Racetrack. No show next Friday. It's next Sunday. Set your DVRs if you want to kill Rod over there. I will not attest that. However, my lawyers are saying that I must attest that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Those are not gestures viable in a court of law. All right, so let's start with this pick 4 sequence. Over at the Meadowlands, as I said, I'm getting exhausted already. I'm feeling a little concussed. I hit myself in the head right before the show. So if I start really diverging or digressing, it makes most sense indeed. So let's talk about this pick 4. $50,000 guaranteed pool starting in the 8th race. The 8th race, a preferred handicap trot. We got 1, 2, 4, 9 horses, if I'm not mistaken, going postward in this first leg. I am not mistaken. I am rarely mistaken, except when the mistake was made, and that makes sense. $20,000 pool, $50,000 guaranteed pool, $20,000 purse, excuse me. It's the head damage. It's permeating through the vocabulary. And, you know, I don't like wearing these glasses anymore. I'm going to go glasses free this show. To start things off, I can't see what's going on. Rod, you're fairly deep. You think this is a wide open race. You're taking a chance early on in this sequence. Talk to us about why you're 4 deep.
Yeah, I'll start with 4 horses. Whoa, somebody has to turn their stuff down there. Right? It's always you.
It's not my fault. It's just, you know.
No, I'm echoing again.
They like to listen to you too. It's fine.
I'm echoing. Now I'm good. So, anyway, 4 deep to start this pick 4 at the Meadowlands. Start with the 4, Dunbar Hall. Just an okay effort last time. Gets a trainer change and driver change tonight. Decent draw. I think this horse fits at this level, and, you know, faced Ariana G last time. Just had no chance. Went a pretty good mile, I thought. Just, you know, the winner was too tough there. From this post, I do think this horse should stay close, and Brett Miller jumping on, I think, is going to bring a little bit of value into this pick 4 if he can win. The 5, Sutton, is pretty obvious. Andy and Julie Miller. This horse is right there every week. Loves the Meadowlands and fits well in this group. This is kind of a softer bunch than what he's been in with over Pocono and Chester or Philly recently. So I think this is a nice spot for him. The 7, Obrigado, making his first start of the year. Earlier in the year, we actually talked to Paul Kelly about this horse, and you know, this horse is a nice horse. First time Lasix. Made a ton of money last year on just a few starts, and you know, he fits. He's better than these. The only question is he tight enough? And 3 qualifiers, I think he might be tight enough. We'll see. Paul Kelly raced one earlier. The horse raced okay. Closed very well, and that was a 2-year-old trotter. So I think this one has a little bit of a chance. May need a start, though, but he's going to be a price, so I'm throwing him on. And the 9, Pinkman, he's back in good form finally, and he's been racing very well. Looks the best. He was handicapped the outside, so I think you have to have him on your ticket. And just based on his form alone, he's a play here. So 4, 5, 7, 9.
Mike, you agree with 2 of those horses that Rod used, but you're also throwing on Double L Lindy, which I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah, I don't mind Double L Lindy in the race. Just second Lasix. Last time was first up against Hannelore, no shot. Prior to that was racing well in the condition races. Beat Pinkman 2 back. Lost to Celebrity Ruth. It would fit in this race. Just a lot of back class, and I love the draw. I like Marcus getting on here. The second Lasix has to get an easier trip than last time. I mean, there's no Hannelore in here, so I think could trip out a little. The 5's obvious. Something I just like the switch back to the big track, and he's just so much better at this place than he is anywhere else. He's fast enough, and I like the starting spot also. And then the 9, Pinkman, very obvious. His last 3 have been much better. Was second to Hannelore. He seems to be back in that, I hate to say 3-year-old form, but when he gets good, he does pretty well. And I don't know about Obrigado off the layoff. I just think that's a bit of a reach against these horses. And Dunbar Hall, I think, might be going the wrong way a little. So I'm 3, 5, 9.
I think Sutton is a great use here. If you for for some reason feel like singling. I don't think he's like a solid enough horse to use as a single because this is a fairly wide open race. But he's close. He makes a lot of sense in this field. At the very least, if he's not the favorite, I would consider. Wouldn't bet on him as well. I got sick of being blind. I like seeing things. It really adds on to this world. But I agree with Sutton. Obrigado, I am a bit hesitant to use him, but at the same time, his qualifiers at Vernon are good, and I feel like he can improve slightly off of those miles. And since he's a stakes type, maybe coming back into the preferred will be a breeze. I don't know. I'm conjecturing. Whether he gets bet or not, I think provides value for us in the pick 4, mostly him not getting bet part because everyone else sees, oh, he's coming off a layoff, he needs to start, but then it's like, bam-o, Rod and I have him in this pick 4. It's possible. Pinkman makes sense too. He's the handicapped horse in this race. That's not to say the sulky is necessarily his wheelchair, but more so that he has the outside post in this race, and he was second to Hannelore last time out. I think he's going to be a bit overbet off that mile. He's good enough to race at this level, but he seems like such a trip horse that if he's not forwardly placed, I don't really know how well he can race here. Even though he won from off the pace 2 starts back, that race kind of set up for him. He was dragged into contention. He was in against Weaker. A lot of variables benefited him then. But from that outside post, I think there's only one thing he has to do and go. Or I could just be wrong. I'm handicapping here, and that's what I do best. But then, my 4th horse I use, Murmur Hanover, I use for a bit of a price, shipping up from Harrington, which right off the bat should go, oh, Harrington? People would just scratch this horse out. That's not Yonkers. Harrington, that's not the Meadowlands. But this horse has some decent miles down there. And those open races, sure they aren't of the echelon that this preferred is, so he's making a bit of a move up in class, but this is a horse that has a lot of back class. He was a decent 3-year-old a couple years ago, and he seems to have retained that form well enough in his most recent starts down in Harrington that moving to the bigger track, I think people are going to underestimate him a little bit. He's going to be a higher price, and sure, he's moving up in class, but I think he's showing the form that he could at least, be somewhat competitive at this level. And with the right trip, I could certainly at least see him being involved. So I'm 5, 6, 7, 9 to kick off this sequence. The second leg's the 9th race. And this is another division of the Kindergarten Classic Series. This one for 2-year-old filly trotters. First leg of this series, rather. We got 1, 2, 4, 8 horses going postward. And Mike, I see that you do not really trust these fillies, so you're going to go deepest of all of us with 4.
Yeah, 4 deep. I'll start with the 1. Looks obvious. Has 2 qualifiers for Melander. Gets Brian Sears. It's nice to see he's actually here and driving. 2 blowout qualifier wins. Kicked home 27-4 in the second one. Likely favorite, but you got a 2-year-old trotting filly from the rail, so it's hard to trust. I don't mind the 3, Amanda Blue Chip. I like the connections. This horse was 4-1, first start New York Sire Stakes from the 7-hole at Monticello. Not the easiest place in the world. The horse has the breeding. I'm interested if the horse trots. I think she could have a chance in the race. The 4, check out Trixie, blowout win at Goshen by 15. But again, what can we discern from that race? That was a 4-horse field.
Track record.
Tetrick lands here. I think you have to use, but the price could be, probably lower than you want. And then the 6, Susie. This horse is Tactor, regally bred, Father Patrick, Salvig. That was a serious stakes horse. Qualified okay enough, 57-2 with a 28-2 kicker. I'm sure they're going to take their time with this one, but hard to leave off with this pedigree. So 1, 3, 4, 6.
Rod, why don't you use the 3? What's wrong with the 3?
Don't like. So I'm 3 deep. I'm using 3 of the 4 Mike's using. The 1, Speed Titan, like Mike said, 2 really good qualifiers there. Sears is back driving at the Meadowlands for this race, and I think this is a very nice filly. We'll see what she does. Probably going to take quite a bit of money. The 4, check out Trixie. It's pretty obvious going from Ray Schnicker to Tim Tetrick, and decent draw. Shows a little bit of early speed, so I expect her to be out and rolling early. And then the 6, Susie, comes off a nice qualifier there. May need one, but these tactor horses come in ready to go, and I think this one is quick enough to be able to go with anything she's put up against right now in this division. So 1-4-6 for me.
Again, check out Trixie. Won that race in a track record over at Goshen, if that helps you weight it at all. There's 7 horses there in a blanket in that 6th race at the Meadowlands for second. Interesting to watch, but that does not pertain to what I'm about to talk about here. I think check out Trixie. She should win this race. However, there's one other horse on here that I was interested in that neither of you guys used. That was the 8 Trickster for Kids from the Cancel Me Now. What are the name of these brothers?
Cancelleri.
Those guys. The Richie and Money. That's their names. They come in with this filly who put in a decent qualifier last night at Harris, Philadelphia, going first over and powering by horses to win there in 2 minutes and change. That mile, I look for those miles because those are interesting to see from 2-year-olds. You usually see horses make very little movement, or they race on the lead, or they're just chasing horses. I like to see a bit of action coming from some fillies like that. And sure, she may have an outside post, but she's shown speed before. 2 starts back, she left for the front. She was caught at the end, but she can be put into the mix. And if that baby race last out can imply that this horse has a bit of ability, I think she has a shot. But of course, check out Trixie is the standout. She's the one to beat. That's why she's going to be the favorite. I'm 4-8 in that second leg, moving us to the third. The third's the 10th race, another division of the Kindergarten Classic. This one for the Colts and Geldings, if they have been so unlucky to be so. And once again, Mike, you do not trust any of them. You're taking 5.
Yeah, 5 deep. I'll start with the 1, Into the Sky. Really, it's just strictly a connections play. Alanya, McCarthy, the 2 qualifiers are just, marginal, but a lot of times with his horses, he gives them a couple in the qualifiers, doesn't really show the hand. I don't mind that, especially from the price and the way this race looks to set up. The 4 Brady Bunch, this is Herb Miller, Marcus Miller, blowout qualifier win last time. Even that qualifier 2-back kicked in 27 and 4. I think that's, this horse can do it either way, and, shows talent. I love the connections. They're good with the young ones. The 7 Sovereign Deo, this is Pelling again. This is connections. Dave Miller. Qualifiers aren't spectacular, but finished up okay. 27 and 3 in that second qualifier, switching to the big track. So I'll use that one. The 8 Alternative Fact. This is Schnitger. 56 and 3 qualifier at Pocono, and just was okay there. Was chasing a blowout one. Lost by 8 3/4, but again, connections. A decent qualifier. And then I'll use the 10. No 10 in the race. I'm sorry. I mean the 9. And this is Ake. Anything that he has in these 2-year-old races that he's driving, I like, especially off a winning qualifier. And that first qualifier kicked in 27 and 3, so I'll use that one also. So 1, 4, 7, 8, 9.
Rod, if you were a fish, what fish would you be?
The winning one. Like I was the last 2 Fridays.
I need to consult the dictionary on that one. The winning fish? What kind of maxim is that?
It's a race.
The winning fish catches the bird. Like what?
It's a race.
Rod is a man of very strange idioms, but I guess if you've had this pick for the last 2 weeks, which I guess
3.
Is what you're trying to say, then I gotta trust you got a good insight to this next leg.
Yeah, I've got a good insight every week.
Well, that's to be debatable, but go on.
It's not debatable anymore because I've been crushing. So, the 4 Brady Bunch, I use this one. This is Irvin Marcus Miller. Good draw. This horse showed early speed last time and still come home in 28 and a piece. Definite play here from the inside post because his biggest competitors, I think, are outside of him. The 6 Winning Habit. This one, another Paul Kelly, 2-year-old trotting colt. Qualified up at Vernon. They're very sneaky qualifiers there, and those are actually really good as far as time in last quarter for a 2-year-old over at Vernon on a track that probably wasn't ideal either morning. So I do think this horse needs to be used and is going to be decent value going from Paul's second trainer to Matt Kakaley. And then the 7, Sovereign Deo. This one come home in 27 and change last time. Definitely needs to be played here and should be following. Doesn't have much early speed, which is kind of a disadvantage in a 2-year-old race, but this one shows the late kick to be able to overcome that. So I'm going to throw him on and go 4, 6, 7.
What's wrong with the 3? What's wrong with the 3?
He's not winning?
How do you know? Is man willing he can win? Whether he's a man or not, that is the question.
He looks a little immature to me.
Looks a little immature. He parked first over, got tired,
Okay,
and broke.
let me explain something to you. Start number 1 went right to the front.
Okay.
Start number 2 broke behind the gate. Start number 3
Okay.
couldn't get ducked into a hole. That tells me this horse is still immature.
You think that's it? You think the horse just didn't park the mile because there was no hole?
No.
But still, the horse was first over the entire way. That's a tough mile for any horse, period. I don't care that he broke at the end. I understand. I relate to that. I ran track and field for like 4 months. I get how tiring that stretch drive is, and sometimes I'd even gallop myself. And the coach, dark things would happen in the locker room that night. But let's talk about this horse in general. I'm talking about whoopings. But with this guy, I don't see that happening at all. I see horse that has ability, is going to be a price, and has a leg up on these other ones because he already has 2 starts under his belt. And that belt brings back dark memories. But with this horse in particular, so long as he doesn't park the mile again like he did that week, which I don't know if it was last week. I don't recall. I'm too lazy to look over my program to confirm. Never mind. I did. It was last week. I think this horse is a great shot at a price. We all agree on Brady Bunch. There's nothing else to add. I also like Winning Habit here. Those qualifiers at Vernon do stand out. They are decent qualifiers compared to some of the other ones I've seen from these 2-year-olds that they've put in prior to their debuts. So this horse, therefore, stands out. That's all I have to say about that division. I'm 3, 4, and 6. I think Man Willing's great value, potentially. As we move on to the last leg, race number 11. The 11th race, don't trip on the cord. That means broken neck. Nominal's a $3,500 trot versus $7,500. 10 horses going postward here. And Rod, you deviate the most from either of us, so what are you thinking?
I'm 3 deep here. I'll start with the 1, Mr. Pro Tab. Inside draw, made a first over move last time. I thought raced very well there. And, keeps his driver this week. With the inside post, I expect him to be firing, and he should be right up close to the pace. And that seems to be where he races best. And, there's not a lot of early speed in here, so it could work to his advantage just having the inside post. The 8, Majestic Sunset, occasionally makes breaks behind the gate, but, he made that one break 4 starts ago at the Meadowlands. But when he moves, this horse has a big move, and he's fast enough to win this race. He won his last start at the Meadowlands against a little bit cheaper, but he plays in this race because there's really nothing that stands out in here. And if he gets him into contention, I don't think he's going to be going off the gate, but he's going to be moving early, and he could end up with a nice second over trip. And, he's probably going to take some money as well. And then I'm going all the way outside. Big long shot here. The 10, King Cast, Vinnie Ginsburg for Mike Posner. This horse gets trips all the time, so the post is going to be at his disadvantage, but you're going to get value here just because. And, he's right there every week. Sometimes he gets there, sometimes he fades a little bit, but we know what he can do. And against this field, there's not a lot in here that says they can do much else besides just pace along with other horses. And he's one. He's going to be firing, I think. And if he can end up with a trip, this is a race that he could win just based on merit. And, the merit there is he's right there every week. So I'm going to throw him on as a big price play. 1, 8, 10.
Take a look at that one. I got to shout out Jason Beam, who somehow found the one frame in the existence of my entire videography where I look unattractive. Thank you for that one, Jason. That's up on Twitter. You can follow him at Beamy Awards if you'd like. Thank you for tuning in to the broadcast. As for you, Mikey, you're a bit more on my page, and I like that because, I write stuff like books, and pages are kind of my thing. So you're somewhat in my ballpark. We both agree that the 4 is a contender, but you also like one other.
Yeah, I like the 4 and the 8. I think the 4 is very obvious. Those billing races are tougher than these. This horse does very well at this racetrack. Has won here already this year, and draws perfect. I thought that was a slight wake-up last time at Tioga after that dreadful trip at Monticello. Just pitched that, and then 3 back here. This horse raced very well. Ended up 3rd in a 56-mile. So, that likely wins this race. I feel like he's going to be overlooked a little, and, he plays very well. And then the 8, Majestic Sunset, just like Rod said, I'm going to pitch that last one at Pocono. Those are tougher horses. Those straight numbers of 6s. Face Dawn's Dream, 2 back. And that horse is racing very well. 1 here at this level, 3 back, and 1 easily at 1 to 2. Any repeat of that race makes this horse extremely difficult. So 4 and 8.
Oh, Ray does like a venture as well for most of the reasons Mike said. He raced decently in those Billings miles, but now is not in the Billings miles, so most likely will benefit from that. But I also like the 5, Fleet Bumblebee. I really had a hard time looking at this race, and these were the only 2 I could really take out as strong contenders. Fleet Bumblebee, a lot of back class, was racing at the 12,000 level, then dropped to the 9,000, and just seemed to have bad luck either with trip or post over at Pocono, then over at Tioga, broke at the start, so tossed that race completely. 2 back, was at least aggressive at a level similar to this one, again at Pocono, getting headed after trying to wire the field as the odds on, as the even money favorite, excuse me. So all that said, the horse has the class, the horse seems to have the ability. He's raced well at this track before. That's all I got. 4-5 in that last leg. So here's my ticket as follows. For 50 cents, I go. What do I go? 5, 6, 7, 9 with 4, 8 with 3, 4, 6 with 4, 5. That's $24 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
My ticket 3, 5, 9 with 1, 3, 4, 6 with 1, 4, 7, 8, 9 with 4, 8 at $60.
Rodney.
4, 5, 7, 9 with 1, 4, 6 with 4, 6, 7 with 1, 8, 10. It's $54 for 50 cents.
Keep in mind on the graphics, instead of the 10, Mike does have the 9.
That was my fault. Not yours, mine. I don't know how that happened. I'm sorry.
Well, you see what I like about that, Mike, is you admit it. Rod, however, when he puts the wrong price of the ticket, insists that I was the one that calculated it wrong. When Rod, as a matter of fact, I have a little thing called a nuclear calculator. That's right. A nuclear calculator from the Cold War. You remember the Cold War, Rod? Certainly you don't. You're wearing that T-shirt. You aren't grateful. You aren't grateful that everyone had to wear sweaters back then, jackets, long pants. So it was brisk. It was so brisk, Rod. You wouldn't know. You can't appreciate it. You don't know your history.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit of history of people that have been watching. Shout out to Ben Bloom, Darren, Gagne, Amanda, Bill, Susan, my neighbor's watching right now.
He's got tell what's good in the name. They could look through the window and watch Rod.
Yeah, they could. It'd be a little bit creepy, but yeah, they could.
It counts as a crime? I count it as a crime.
No.
In the people's court.
That's like the people's porno.
Not at all, because because it's too upbeat and the bass line wasn't strong. Where's your head at right now, Buster boy?
Rod, am I wrong?
Nope.
Charles just tweeted in that there is no such thing as a nuclear calculator. First off, you're wrong. There are nuclear telephones, so there can be a nuclear calculator. They are the most accurate calculators you can get. Sometimes you pull out your Texas Instrument, you beat on it a couple times, you go, wait, it's not that kind of instrument, because you're trying to play it like a drum, and you type in a number, type in 4 plus 4, and then it gives you error. 4 plus 4 does not equal error, it equals 8. I'm even smart enough to realize that. Smarter than a dumb calculator. Nuclear calculator never gets that wrong. Nuclear calculators not only give you proper math, they also tell you when the fallout is going to occur, and from my numbers, oh wait, hold on, I'm getting a call. Hello?
There's carryover possibilities in the pick 5 at the Meadowlands.
Uh-huh.
Darren says Ray needs medication.
What do you mean they're outside the house?
Keep trying there.
Oh, all right.
So
He is 19 today. Everyone wish Ray a happy birthday.
Ray turned 19 today.
Schizophrenic break.
Yes, as there are troops outside my house after I revealed what the power of the nuclear calculator.
Ray turned 19 today, so when we go back to Canada, he can buy his own beer.
That's not true. That's not true. It is indeed my birthday. However, I just turned 36. Because 36, for those of you who don't know, is the new 19. At least in my book. As I twist the mic stand back.
What's next?
So this will be my last show. I've decided to become a vigilante from an Ayn Rand novel. Speak out. Again, actually, is Ayn Rand, is that trivial nowadays? Is the head injury starting to show? I actually did hit my head before we went on the air. It kind of hurt. It was an owie. It was a pretty owie. Actually, well, it wasn't a pretty owie, but it was a funny owie. Like, there were a bunch of people around. They went, sure, glad I'm not that guy. That actually happened to be the Schadenfreuds. They're my neighbors. Larry and Clarice Schadenfreude.
I was going to say Larry, Curly, and Mo.
No. Because, Rod, I hate to break it to you. It is not the 1930s. Is this ever going to tighten? Did I break this? Oh, that'd be a shame to break this on my 36th birthday.
I don't know. We gotta go. We gotta move on. We got a bunch of crap to get to here.
Rod, that was just a bit. I was doing a bit at the beginning. We got time to lounge. I gotta get a tan under this light. Ooh, yes. It feels good. Okay, I'm done with that. Running aces. Let's go on to that one.
Yes.
So next up on the agenda, don't act like you were entertained. This show can't be entirely about racing, because I mean, let me tell you, I'm a racing fan, and even then, it's like after 12 races, I go, oh man, what's on Perry Mason tonight? Because that's what 36-year-olds ask, right? 36-year-olds, Perry Mason's all the rage among that demographic. But to digress from my own digression, who am I? To digress from my digression, Running Aces has a guaranteed Pick 4 Sunday, July 15th of $10,000. And as we said earlier in the show, July 22nd, next Sunday,
I said
we are
boom.
going to be live from Running Aces Casino and Racetrack. And recently,
what are we giving away?
Watching the news, if you've been reading the news, if you've been aware of our social media presence within the last week, you would see that we are running the giveaway to end all giveaways. That's right. We talked with the courts. They said after this, the giveaways are no more. You can't top this one, so why even try? Running Aces, Sunday, July 22nd. If you're on track, you have a chance to win a trip for you and a buddy or a friend or a colleague or someone you don't even know. It doesn't matter. You and one other person can win a trip to the 2018 Hambletonian at the Meadowlands Racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey, on the continental United States, inside of the atmospheric planet Earth. That opportunity again will be if you're on track Sunday, July 22nd. All you got to do, you got to find the NAHU booth, take a selfie, send it to us, tag us and Running Aces in it on either Facebook or Twitter. We'll enter you into a drawing, and you have a chance to win a trip to the Hamiltonian. But that's not all. Our boy Rodney Allums has also been busy not having a personal life and instead doing work that I'm too lazy and inept to do by organizing even more giveaways and prizes for this. We got swag bag. We're giving away a duffel bag full of Hamiltonian swag, NAHU swag, Running Aces swag. We're giving away other NAHU swag and Hambo swag. Rod, you got more details on that as well.
Yep, so we're going to have contests for everybody on track and on social media. All you have to do is share our broadcast, like our page, NAHU Picks on Facebook and or Twitter, like Running Aces, like one of our sponsor pages, or all of them. We prefer that you like all of them. And, everybody's got a chance to win something. And there's going to be tons of prizes, including... on track, we're going to have t-shirt tosses, voucher giveaways. On social media, we're going to have 4 winners get Hamiltonian bets, $50 win bets on any horse of their choice for the Hamiltonian final.
Can I win that?
No.
No ding.
I want to win
No,
that.
I'm not done describing that. So 2 of those are going to be a regular like and share contest, and 2 of them are going to be winners for Pick and Exacta on the Harness Racing Replays page. So you have to go on there. They'll give you the race, and you have to pick the Exacta in that race. Whoever picks the Exacta in that particular race will be entered in the drawing to win one of these 2, or one of these 4.
What if you're the only one that gets it? I guess you win.
Then you win.
No.
Then you get to pick 2 horses. If you're the only person that hits that Exacta on Harness Racing Replay's Facebook page, then you get 2 $50 bets on 2 horses in the Hamiltonian. We're also going to be giving away hats. Hamiltonian hats, Running Aces hats, not any of my hats, Ontario Sire Stakes hats, and any other hats we can find. If you want to give us a hat that you want to give away, we'll throw it to somebody.
So tell everyone who the sponsors are.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Wow, he's still not done.
I'm still not
He's
done.
You know how many dings he had? He paid for
He's still
30.
not done?
We don't have
I'm still
this
not
ding.
done. I'm still not done. So we're also going to be giving away... We're also going to be giving away collectible Hamiltonian pins. These are, I don't even know if they sell for anything, but they're collectible. So if you get one, if you want to win one, this is definitely something you would want to keep. Not everybody can get these things, so make sure you keep these if you end up winning them. And then we're also going to be giving away On Track, and we're also going to do one for whoever wins the Dan Patch final. We're going to get their whip from that race, and we're going to give that away as well. Have them autograph, the driver autograph their whip, and we're going to give that away. And we're going to have other drivers at Running Aces autograph some whips, throw them out to the crowd, and
So that's something for the BDSM crowd, is what you're saying.
yes.
Why is it the adult show? How did this become the... We used to be about Care Bears and peanut butter.
That's well, you're older now. We have to upgrade.
And new addition. We have a new addition just announced right now, just coming in. Hawthorne Racecourse hats will also be given away, courtesy of the IHHA On Track.
Awesome.
Horseshoe giveaway. There's stuff going to be added.
Who's going to do the show?
Mike, if you do not remember, I once gave away 50 T-shirts in under 5 minutes, so we should have no problem with this.
Yeah, all the T-shirts. 5 seconds. It wasn't 5 minutes. It was 5 seconds. Gone.
Well, no, you see, Mike, I'm a little older now. I'm actually 37 now. I just turned 37 after being 36, and I can recall time a lot better now. It was around 5 minutes.
Okay, so anyway, sponsors include newly added JB Racing, which is Jen Bongiorno stable, Team Orange Crush, Running Aces, Minnesota Harness Racing Inc., Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association and Hawthorne Racecourse, Hickory Lane Farm. Who am I forgetting? Anybody?
The sponsors.
Hambletonian Society, the Meadowlands Racetrack.
Unbelievable.
And we're probably going to add more.
Like 6 months ago, 3 people watched the show. Totally.
We're probably going to add more to this list as the weekend progresses and early next week goes on. I'm sure there's going to be more sponsors jumping in to do some things. So if you want in, just get a hold of me. We'll get you in, whatever you want to do, whether it's a cash donation or you want to give away some of your swag. We're more than happy to do it. Just get in contact with me. You can find it right on NAHUPicks.com.
I just have to appreciate that while we were listing these on. Wait, Rod, I need a ding.
Ding. Oh, there was a little ding.
That was.
How appropriate for you.
I forfeited my salary this month just to pay for those dings, and I don't really feel like it paid off.
People want to win Ray's hair. Can we win Ray's hair?
We should run a contest to shave his head. We could make a fortune. Come on, Ray. Take one for the team.
Well, you see, there is no team when it comes to me and my hair, or my hair and I, except for my hair and I. But I do have to appreciate, or at least I do. We list the sequence of listing out these prizes. We had the Hambo trip, duffel bag of swag, but that was not the climax of it all. Rod put the most emphasis on the hats.
There's going to be a lot of hats.
All right, let's do this pick for it before we fall off the rails.
Or before I shave my head. Did I say I hit my head earlier before the show? Did I say that?
Apparently, because all you're doing is
Us concussed are not to be made fun of, right, Rod? Ta-da! That's not what I sound like.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to all this.
Sunday pick 4. we got to
Sunday,
move.
please. Let's go there.
July 22nd.
Running Aces just pulled their sponsorship.
Running Aces. Hey, we're live from Running Aces Sunday, July 22nd. Start time to be determined. And we'll provide more information on the giveaways in case you missed it or are just tuning in as the date approaches. But for now, we do have to focus on Sunday, July 15th. As I fix this mic stand, okay. There we go. $10,000 guaranteed pick 4. You're saying, but right, it was $7,500 last week. Well, you know what? Running Aces wants to thank you, and we want to thank you too for all the support you've been giving this pick 4 pool by upping it another $2,500. $10,000 guaranteed pick 4. That's the amount of college debt I'm going to be graduating with. And so that's why I'm going to probably, why did I remind myself of that? $10,000 guaranteed pick 4. Maybe if I'm the only ticket, I can graduate without that debt. But it starts off with the Dan Patch Free-for-All preview. It's not the final, it's the preview. With some of the finalists, right? Correct? Some of the finalists.
Yes.
Not all, but some.
Not all. Some of these finalists competing in this $15,000 free-for-all event. 7 horses going postward. We're all 3 deep, and there's a bit of variety from each of our tickets. So I'm going to start off with you, Rod, our resident Running Aces handicapper. Which 3 do you? No more dings. We have
Actually, I like that one.
royalties for that every time you play it. Who are the three you use?
I'm going to start with the one, Gold Star Misty. Last week, basically, she was just trying to make the final. He ducked her. She had zero chance to win that race. She barely got in the final. And, I didn't think she was actually going to get in the final based on that trip. It was awful. She draws the rail in this preview race, and she's going to be firing early. She might look for a pocket trip to save a little bit for next week, but I think she's good enough right now. She's been racing absolutely awesome all season long, and she's been extremely good. So from the rail, I think you have to have her on your ticket, and she's going to be tough. I mean, she can go with the boys, so don't be surprised if she wins this race. The 5, Stevensville, just got beat by Trashy Tongue Talker last week, who was unbelievable in that race. Fast half, just got beat half a length, and I thought it was a very good race. He might duck in this race and just look to follow some horses and pounce late, so he might need some fractions up front, and he's got to be close and in the mix to be a factor, but I do think as long as he can get a trip, he's a threat to win this. And then the 7, Nuclear Dragon, who got parked every step last time, just had an absolutely brutal trip. Start before that at Northfield, winning 50 in a piece, and he's coming in really good form. Outside draw again is the concern, but I do think this one has a legit chance to win the race as long as he doesn't get parked a mile again like he did last time with that awful trip. So I'm 3 deep, 1, 5, 7.
First you put weird emphasis on hats, now 7? God.
7.
That was. I hit my head earlier, and sometimes I'll break into song. Mike, you won't break into song, however. You will go 3 deep.
3 deep, and they all come out of that one elimination. I'm the 2, the 4, and the 7. I agree with Rod on the 7 for sure. Nuclear Dragon, most likely winner to my eye. Any kind of better trip should, win this race. The 4 9 ways, benefited from that setup last time, but draws well here. And, these out-of-towners, I think, may be just a touch better than the horses that have been here. And, got a price last time. You're not going to get anywhere near 15 to 1 this time. Likely going to get maybe around 2.5. But I still think the horse has a chance from off the pace. And then the 2, Fire Drake, who was 3rd in that race. And, this horse loves this racetrack. Lots of back class. Won 12 times last year. Draws well. I think might end up in the pocket and tripping out. Some of the horses in that other division last week, like Stevensville, To the Limit, both had stone cold perfect trips and went nowhere in the stretch. So I'm sort of against them here. 2, 4, 7.
I like the 7. The 7 is very obvious to use in this race. I agree with Rod on the 5, Stevensville. This horse, if he doesn't race on the front, he seems to perform better chasing horses. Just because he maybe gets lazy on the lead. I don't know. I could conjecture all night on why he doesn't race well on the lead. But at the same time, he's also won on the lead before. So it's not like he can't do it. He draws well to do it. He's going to be a decent price, finishing 2nd to Trashy Tongue Talker last out, who was just so much the best in that race. After they went so fast, he still held on to win there. And Stevensville finished 2nd. I feel he's an obvious contender to use there. I think 9 Way's got a perfect setup in that race, especially considering the front collapse there. So I don't necessarily consider him that strong a contender. I understand you using him, Mike, but he's not my kind of horse. Instead, however, I do throw on Better's Promise for a bit of an interesting price. This horse parked the mile in that 9 Ways race and helped really set it up for closers there. Going first over most of the way, ended up finishing 5th there. Prior to that, tried to come from off the pace against open horses, and it's just been consistent at this open level, but has not had the right opportunity to perform at his best. So perhaps with this inside draw off that mile, he might be a bit tighter, or maybe that mile took a bit out of him. I don't know. He's going to be a long price, though. and it's worth a shot in my opinion. So I'm 3-5-7 in the first leg of that Running Aces pick 4. The second leg is the 9th race, Maidens. Oh boy, these ones are a doozy. Mike, you certainly think so. You're the deepest of all of us with 4.
4 deep. Start with a 2. Already second last time, draws well, 0 for 11, but if the horse stays flat and gets rolling here, probably a likely favorite. Hard to leave off. The 3 Pecan moves inside. When this horse draws, the inside post tends to finish better. Goes from Longo to Wiseman, and does show a little early speed at times. So I'll use that one. The 6 Mystic Wonder, just tossed that race out last time. Was sub 3-1 and just really wasn't given any chance whatsoever. 2 back raced pretty well. Just missed against Joker John, who was sitting on a win. So, again, the horse is 0 for 16, but this bunch is, you're going to see a lot of that. And then the 8, looking for a place. This horse had raced at Aces previously back in June, was racing in 56 type miles. This horse will have to go nowhere near that to win this. The lines are a bit goofy, the fair lines and things. I'm not sure of any of those, but Longo lands here. The horse has fast times to look back on, and I'm not going to leave off. So 2, 3, 6, 8.
What an alliteration. Longo lands. Not the here part, though. That's where the alliteration ended. But, Mike, I do have to say that was a very nice poetic touch.
Thank you for that.
Rod, I don't think you could top that just because of your simpleton lexicon. But I'm not gonna hold that against you, because I feel you have a very concise opinion about this race, taking 2 obvious ones.
Yeah, I thought this race was very simple. The 2 Avetti is one of the 2 best horses here. Obviously the horse has a braking issue, but if she can overcome that issue, she definitely plays here, and comes off a big first over trip last time. She'll be right there as long as she's flat. And then the 8 looking for a place. This is the best horse in the race. The post is the concern here. This horse doesn't really pass anybody, which is another issue I have. I would single this horse if I thought Longo was going to fire her off the wings, but I'm not real sure what he's going to do here. So, this one is a question mark, but is easily the best horse in this race if put into the right place. So 2-8 for me.
I agree with those 2, but I also think the 7 Stony Creek's Hope is a good price use, especially off that last mile. She showed something a little interesting coming from off the pace there to finish 4th. Still, she came from off the pace. She gained ground. She did something. And when you're looking at these kind of maiden races, you want a horse that just does anything. If they gain a length, mark that. If they go wide, mark that. Because otherwise, then you have a bunch of these horses that just kind of sit at the rail and they finish. And it's like, how do you gauge that? You wanna gauge horses that at least are making a bigger effort than some of the other ones, because maybe they have more ability to do so. And the 7 Stony Creek's Hope, to me, although the draw does not benefit her, she seems to be racing, or at least improving with every start, and maybe, just maybe, could pop here. I don't know. Maybe I do. I'm just guessing, because that's all this is. I'm 2-7-8 in that second leg. The 3rd leg then is the 10th race. It comes after the 9th. And this 10th race, what's this 10th race again? It's not winners of 2, but not more than 4. If any of these horses have more than 4 wins, I swear to God, I will find them and do something about it. But that part of the condition is it's written on there. If you look close enough, you gotta zoom in a lot on the program to really find the threatening part of the condition. But nonetheless, this is an interesting race, because if you don't like the horse that looks like he's supposed to crush here, it's pretty wide open from there. Mike, though, you do single that horse.
I do. The horses won 3 in a row against these same horses. None of them can get within a length and a half of him. He stands to control the race from this post, and he's going to be extremely difficult to beat. I'm not going to try. I'm going to use the 3 and move on.
Well, Rod, you do use the 3, but you can't move on, because there were just some other horses that you said, oh, geez, I like this 3, but, these other 2, I need to use them. I need them in my life.
Well, I don't know if I said it that way, but I am using two other horses other than the three. The two Master Royal. First start over the surface last week. Horse raced very well. Ended up winning. Should improve a little bit. Missed a decent amount of time in between starts there. About 2.5 weeks. So I do see improvement. And that was a very slow first half that this horse was in, and still went 57 and change. I think this horse is going to be decent value as well. The 3 Dance All Bouncer, like Mike said, horse has just been awesome the last 3-4 starts, and going to be tough to beat. Seems to really like the track. And then I'm going all the way outside to the 8 Almar Bonbon. This was the Bobcat's choice here. And Mary Beth, I see you watching. Make sure Bobcat jumps on here, sees I'm talking about him. The 8 Almar Bonbon. Another one been in really good form recently. Post is the obvious concern, but this horse seems like a versatile type. Can leave, can duck and follow horses. Just needs to be in contention, I think, and should be right there. And 22-time winner in 57 starts. I mean, that's as consistent as you can get, and has hit the board in about 2/3 of his starts. Her starts. So I think this one is a must play, even from the outside post. 2, 3, 8.
Almar Bonbon sure is consistent, all right. A consistent loser. Oh, come on. God damn it. It feels like high school all over again. Come on. Oh. I agree with you on the 2, Rod. I don't like Almar at all. That horse finishes 2nd and 3rd way too much for me to think that she even knows what first place even is.
She beat these 2 in a row, 3 and 4 back.
I'm excluding those for sake of my argument. But with this, with this 2 horse, I agree with you fully on the change of scenery, especially off the winning first out off the ship. It's a positive sign in my book, in any book, on any page. Jimmy Page. I hit my head earlier, but this horse moves up in class. It is a bit worrisome, but he draws well to make me think he could be sitting up close. And if the 3 just leads all the way like he has the chance to do, he could just be sitting right behind, and Steve Wiseman just tips out. He goes, "Hey, Yoder." And Yoder goes, "What?" And Wiseman goes, "I'm in front now." And they hit the wire, and then Yoder goes, "Ah, dang it, how'd you do that?" Then Wiseman goes, "Yeah, it's a secret. You know why? Because he's a wise man. That's what that means. It's all up in the brains. That's where it comes from. And maybe that could just be the winning way for Master Royal. It just could be. It could be. Also might not be. You got to live with that dichotomy because that's how gambling works. One more leg to talk about as we get closer to the Meadowlands pick 4 going as well. This last leg is the 11th race. Non-winners of 1 to 2. Purse of $4,800. 9 horses going poster to cap this off. And again, Mike, since you had the single, you're affording yourself to go a little bit deep here to close things out.
Yeah, I mean, it's non-winners of 1 type, so, inconsistent, horses. I'll be 5 deep. I like the inside 3 horses here. The 1, Lakota Law, closed up well last time to be 2nd, albeit being 4 lengths. I don't mind that wake up. Draws well again, and Roland's back on. The 2, Delaney R, was racing well. 3 back 1, 2 back, finished 2nd. Last time was in the 7 hole and, got stung to the front, then ended up getting tired. But, I like the inside draw here compared to the few posts the sources had recently. The 3 Hot Dandy came off a layoff last time and raced even, but has 2 wins lifetime, gets a driver change, and, he's familiar with the horse. So I'm interested in him a little bit for an upset. The 6 is obvious. Was beaten last time, but it's 5 seconds. So this horse is always around it. Was racing in those Minnesota bred type stake races, and getting checks there. Fits a little better here maybe. And then the 9, Nurse Natty. This horse draws bad, but has some back lines. If you look 4 back, the horse was right there, numbers of 2. Was bet to 2 to 1 last time and just raced, broke and then ended up coming back and racing even for a check. So, has a chance maybe if things fall apart. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9.
Things Fall Apart. What a lovely book. Rod, I don't think you've ever read it.
No.
However, okay, that has nothing really to do with who you like in this last race. Or maybe it does if you look at it real poetically, but I'm too lazy to do that.
No. I'm 4 deep here. I also thought it was pretty wide open. The one, I'm using 4 of the 5 Mike's using actually. The one, Lakota Law, coming off a very good race last time, showed good improvement there. Draws the rail again, should stay close and have an impact at some point. Can close better than just about anybody in here. The 2 Delaney R. I'm always reluctant to have this horse on my ticket because she always takes money, and every single week she's in, I always say that this horse is usually just a check getter, and to me that's what she is. This is a soft group, but she's a horse you can't leave off, so I'm using her. The 3 Hot Dandy, another one, gets Mooney here. Should get a nice trip, stay close to the pace, and I think is going to be following the 1 all the way around the track and should make an impact. And then the 6, Watch Me Nay Nay, is going to take money here. 2 starts back, coming off that really good mile against tougher horses, and then finished second last time in this group and was easily second best. So, and gets the Bobcat. So I think you have to have this horse with the driver change, and the last 2 efforts were both pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, Sace.
Thankfully, I hit my head earlier, so I can forget the name of Watch Me Who now. But I think this is a pretty straightforward race. I don't see anything outside of the inside 2. Lakota Law makes sense off the last mile. Hopefully she gets away a little bit closer from the inside. But then the 2 Delaney R really has the speed of the inside 2 and has raced well at this level in the last couple of starts. 1, 3 back, and then our last 2 just seemed to be disadvantaged by the draw. So with post 2, there should definitely be some improvement. I'm 1-2, and the last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows. For 50 cents, I'm 3-5-7 with 2-7-8 with 2-3 with 1-2, $18 for 50 cents. Mike, quickly.
2-4-7 with 2-3-6-8 with 3 with 1-2-3-6-9 is $30.
Rod.
1-5-7 with 2-8 with 2-3-8 with 1-2-3-6, $36.
And those are our pick 4 tickets for Sunday at Running Aces. Meanwhile, this pick 4 is getting underway at the Meadowlands Racetrack. The 8th race coming up right after this will be going to break, getting ready for the 2nd hour. But first things first, will any of these boys break? They're trotters. They might. They can. But it doesn't look like they will. They're in motion, in line at the start, and they're off. Murmur Hanover shows speed to the outside with Sutton to his inside. From the far outside, then Pinkman leaves out as well as a tandem of 5. Move for the front around that first turn. Murmur Hanover going to clear the lead from Sutton to that opening quarter. DW's New York Yank parked out wide as the last chapter gets away 4th to the inside of Obrigado, floating into 5th. Silver Mass Volo then is 6th to the inside of Pinkman, 3 wide of Double L Lindy, who's second to last, and Dunbar Hall trails the field as they go by the first quarter in 26-4. DW's New York Yank moves up to clear from Murmur Hanover, moving to the back stretch. Sitting 3rd, Sutton. 4th, then the last chapters. They move on to 3/8. Pinkman's yet to see the cones from 5th. Now he does. He tucks in front of Obrigado. Silver Mass Volo moves to the outside then on his cover as they move on to the half. Dunbar Hall, Double L Lindy then trails as they go to the half-mile station. Andy Miller pulled with Sutton, and there he goes to brush to the top through a 55-second half-mile. 28-1 that second quarter, moving into the far turn. Sutton shown the whip. Leads here by a length and 3/4 over DW's New York Yank, drafting in the pocket. Murmur Hanover's 3rd to the inside. Then as they move on to 3/4, advancing outside once again comes Pinkman, the 8-5 favorite. He's up to be 4th, within 2.5 lengths of the lead, held by Sutton, who's now kicking away to 3/4. He leads DW's New York Yank by 2.5. Then to the inside, Murmur Hanover locked in by Pinkman, stalled with the last chapter. Silver Mass Volo, Dunbar Hall in the rear, and then Double L Lindy, 123-1. Sutton's blown it wide open. He leads it by 3.5. Second then, DW's New York Yank chased home with Obrigado moving up the inside down the center of the track. Dunbar Hall in deep stretch. Sutton expanded the advantage, and it's going to hold. Sutton here wins by 2.5 in the end. Dunbar Hall rallied for second. Holding on to third, then DW's New York Yank with Obrigado the inside in 1:50 and 4/5. And that's that. We all move on. And that pick 4. Sutton beat Pinkman. If you went to NAHUpicks.com, Sutton was on top of the racing analysis there. We're going to come back then with more racing fun time. I hope you're not exhausted, because I might be. Did I hit my head earlier? I told you guys that already. We're going to come back with more North American Harness updates still to come. All of the stakes action at the Meadowlands for tomorrow evening, Saturday, July 14th, the year 2018. We're not going to be talking 2019. That's too far into the future and too far out of my concern, out of my realm of reach. But for now, a tribute to a man who we all wish we could be.
So I want to thank all of you for letting me come back here to see, what really happens backstage. It's an honor for me to be able to be in front of all of you, especially you and you and you. But I do have to say that there's money on the line out there, and you don't want to go out on the track and do something that seems a little bit iffy. Just get that extra check, because it might come back to haunt you a bit later. So clean and fair competition is all I want to see from all you guys. All right? Yes.
Can I pick up a pylon and hold it until the stretch and then throw it at somebody passing me?
That to me does not sound clean and fair. That sounds, in fact, not clean and very unfair, and also kind of inconvenient. So, are you getting off the horse, or no? Okay, yes.
Is it all right if you're gonna loop the field and drag your whip in a manner and then flip off the judges or anything?
I don't know who you're flipping. I mean, if the camera doesn't see it, but it doesn't seem like a good idea, because the camera could always keep that. Yes.
Is it okay if I drink this during the race?
No. I can get you pulled over by the horsey police that are following you around the track there. That's a bad idea. That's very unfair, very unclean. I'd check your liver if I were you. Okay, so, yes.
Is it okay to challenge somebody with a foot race after the race?
I don't see anything wrong with that. That seems pretty...
What if he's over 65?
And he has tennis shoes and you have boots.
So he's old and he's not wearing shoes?
But he's from California.
No, he wears tennis shoes.
He's from California.
But if they're tennis shoes and he's from California, doesn't that mean he's fit and vegan?
Actually, he is.
Then he's definitely clean, and that to me seems unfair for whoever's going against him.
Yeah, because they have boots on.
Look, I just want to see you guys out there racing those horses as fairly as you possibly can. All right. So do we have everyone clear on that? Clean and fair. No drinking and driving. No pylons. No middle fingers. Foot races are okay, but I'm focused more on the horse foot races.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that seems clean and fair to everybody. I feel like that's a no. Someone's hiding something.
Juan, what do you think?
Juan?
¿Cómo estás?
That's two, Juan.
Oh, that's...
¿Es correcto si pateas el caballo cuando va en la carrera?
Sí.
Sí.
Sí. Sí. Yeah.
That sounds clean and fair to me. Go out and do that. Everyone follow his lead, all right? That's what I want to see, okay?
Which is fair.
So we're gonna end this on a chant, all right? Clean and fair.
No.
Clean and fair.
Never.
I'm hooking somebody.
Dandy Farms is proud to announce the arrival of Sire World of Rock and Roll to Illinois. Regally bred World of Rock and Roll is by Rock and Roll Hanover out of Worldly Beauty, an earner of $1.9 million and from the family that sired $3 million champion pacer Captain Treacherous. World of Rock and Roll, a winner on the Grand Circuit, has sired foals with a total of over $3.3 million in earnings, including 2-year-old filly pacer of the year in Ohio, Bad Girls Rule. Standing at Walker Standardbreds for $1,500, call Dandy Farms at 312-446-8310 or go to dandyfarms.com and book your mare today.
Join us September 3rd, 2018 at the annual Illini Classic Yearling Sale. Over 100 yearlings from top Illinois sires such as Duneside Perch, Sagebrush, Sportsmaster, Cassis, Pizzazzed, and many others will be sold. Recent sales graduates include 2018 Cardinal winner Holden Steady and 2017 Illinois 3-year-old Colt Pacer of the Year, Captain Red. Visit IlliniClassic.com for details. The Illini Classic Yearling Sale, where champions are found.
LeBlanc Designs has been in the harness racing business for over 20 years. Based in Truro, Nova Scotia, and beginning with clients from Truro Raceway, LeBlanc Designs now offers handcrafted and personalized helmet designs to some of harness racing's top drivers, including Tim Tetrick, Hall of Famer David Miller, Corey Callahan, and many more. LeBlanc Designs also offers airbrushing and vinyl designs for hockey masks, motorcycle helmets, and guitars. For more information, go to LeBlancDesigns.com or call it 902-899-7922.
Two new roads have opened at the Markham-Richmond Hill border. Norman Bethune Avenue and Aristotle Avenue are now open to service traffic between two business parks straddling Highway 404. Markham Mayor Frank Scarpiti says the newly constructed roads and overpass will help relieve congestion on Highway 7 East. The weather, chances of showers, 31. I'll have more updates on SRN1. For now, I'm Philip Pong.
Thank you, Phil. And
You're listening to SRN1.
What are you doing?
SRN1. 148.
Stop.
CA in the world.
That's right. We're listening to SRN1. If you're listening to us right now, we're back here with more comedians in cars getting coffee. I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and I totally did not hit myself in the groin with a mic stand during the break. I'm joined here by Mike Freebosey, Rod Allums Jr. for the second hour of whatever this is, my birthday show. Boy, what a way to spend this birthday. I could
go fund me for the shave your head thing.
Wait, someone already made it?
I hope.
I think it's a possibility. We could do it for charity. It could, like St. Jude Hospital or something. Seriously, we could cure cancer.
Now here's. I understand that my humor may be so great and ahead of its time that I can one day.
With the shaved head, though, will get the biggest laugh of your life.
I don't think the follicles in my head could necessarily. Okay, so you know how bald men are self-conscious by the lack of hair on their head?
Grow back.
I'm self-conscious by the hair on my head.
You're not Samson. It'll grow back.
You're really,
you can get your strength from it.
No. You're painting me into a really bad corner right now. I don't want to shave my head.
Well, that's not the point. The point is can we capitalize on this?
I don't like.
There are lots of sick kids with cancer, Ray, that you're down.
You see, I can't win here now. It's like, oh man, you wouldn't do this heroin to help paraplegic kids. It's like, now I gotta do it. Like, I got no choice now.
I'm telling you. More about this later.
That's a good one, because then we don't have to address it ever again. So, when we last left off, what a birthday present that. For my birthday, I got a pole that hit me in the head. I got to turn 37. I hit myself in the groin with a mic stand.
I see my commercial on the Meadowlands. I go, God, I was that guy. It's like, is this what it's like to be an adult? Is our birth? I think you know when you're an adult when birthdays just stop being fun, right? Am I right? Like, I feel like that's how I've reached peak maturity. Is when I've stopped enjoying the celebration.
You just have to work different angles for birthdays. That's all.
What do you mean?
To make them fun.
Well, no, I'm saying more so.
Yeah, one birthday you go get you a hood rat. Next time you just go strip club.
Come on.
I didn't even hear what you said, and I'm glad I didn't. But my point is like it's so strange that it's like your early birthdays, you know, you're celebrating coming into this world, and every other birthday past the age of like 20 is like, get me out of this world now. My dad was telling me, my dad's been doing this thing where he tells me about these Brooklyn jokes, because back in the day, basically every guy in Brooklyn was not known for their name or like what they did. They were known for what joke they told. Where like there's the one guy that lived on 23rd Avenue that would always say, you know what the weather's supposed to be tomorrow, or you know what the weather's supposed to be, chilly today, hot tamale. And he was telling me one. He told me one joke, which was, how'd it go? You spend one day trying to escape the womb, and you spend the rest of your life trying to go back into it. Like that's all. And of course we were talking about Oedipus for a while because you just can't not talk about it from that point. But I feel like I have reached a wiser age now that I don't appreciate my birthday. Because I feel like it's really gimmicky to do that as a kid. That's my substitution of everything that made no sense in the first hour that I said into one coherent bit that I did just there for you, ladies and gentlemen. But we do still have to talk about some racing. And I'm not talking about that race that I craved. That's a callback, ladies and gentlemen. It's not really a good callback, though. I never said that. We have stakes action to talk about from the Meadowlands racetrack for Saturday, July 14th. And starting with that action is race number 3, the first of 2 divisions for the Del Mil Memorial. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ray, if you open up the program, there's 2 divisions of Miss Versatility. No, there are not.
Chalk.
There aren't 2 divisions of Miss Versatility.
Chalk.
I'm not going to bet them. You can bet them.
We don't like chalk.
For all purposes necessary to my wagering dollar, the Meadowlands card starts with the 3rd race, coincidentally at 7:15 projected post time. And it also starts the $40,000 guaranteed pick 5 if that's your tango. But this race, full field of Hambletonian Oaks eligibles, not full field as in 10 horses, as in all 7 of these fillies are Oaks contenders. And of course, Sevi Yoram. God, did either of you guys see that mile she put in at Harrah's? That was gigantic, but it was also 300 degrees, and that was only Celsius. So it makes sense why she won by 9 lengths there as the odds-on favorite. But coming into this race, she seems so sharp at the Meadowlands. Does she seem like a favorite that is beatable?
I'm not a huge fan. I mean, off that blowout, I think that she can only regress. There wasn't that much in that race either. That Fly Sienna was like a numbers a 2 type at Woodbine, so that finished 2nd in there. So I'm not as impressed with it as some might be. I like the one who was given an absolute brutal drive last time, and still ended up finishing up 27-3 to be 4th in an absolute miracle. This horse should be better second off the layoff. Gets Sears, and has a ton of back class. I really like her tomorrow. I think she has a big chance. And then I think the 6 is also, a use. This horse last year was very good, was just, kept running into Manchego. But, that win at Philly from the back, I mean, albeit at 2-5, this horse has a ton of back class, but that's not an easy trip to win at that place. Likes the big track and should be a better price considering all the money the 5's going to take. So I'm 1-6.
Well, Rod, I know that you working around horses, you get to know the horses.
you watch horses, you get to know them in the same way, but not as intimately. Seviorum, does she got your eye at all?
I mean, she's got a big shot. She's got that final quarter that is ridiculous for a 3-year-old trotting filly. And I think she's going to be right there. To win the race, we'll see. I think she's going to be close no matter what, as long as she's flat. Phaetosive is pretty obvious to have. You know, we were on this filly all last year. She's finally coming back. She's got a couple starts under her belt. She goes back to the big track, which fits her style of racing much better because she likes to come from off the pace. You know, she's a player here, but my top contender here is the 7. What a Knockout. Obviously has braking
Against
issues.
These horses.
Huh?
Against these horses.
Yes.
And this is a big jump for this horse.
Oh, Mike, she's clearly a knockout. It's in the name.
Go ahead, Rod. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
She's got early speed if she wants to use it. There's obviously that braking issue there, but she was 3-1 last time, or 7-2 against, you know, very similar, I think, and you know most of those were Hambo eligible. So Hambo Oaks eligible. There's no difference in class for this one. I think as long as she stays flat, she's got the speed. She likes the big track, I think, because her qualifier or her first start off the qualifier was at the Meadowlands. It was a good start and raced against some boys and, you know, basically just left and then sat, just got beat at a big price. And then 2 starts back ended up winning at a big price. This horse should be the value play in this race and possibly of the entire day because they're going to bet the 5, they're going to bet the 6, and they're probably going to bet the 1 quite a bit.
I guess that's a knockout for you then, Rod. If you're classifying these fillies in tiers, that Reynolds race was 2nd tier if you're looking at it as Seviorum and Phaetosive are in that upper echelon. And I feel like the 3 main Oaks contenders at this point are the fairly obvious ones that we knew last season too. Seviorum, Phaetosive, and Manchego. Those are the 3 fillies that are kind of in their own league at this point in the division. What a Knockout could certainly join that, but she was bet hard, or bet decently in what is the everyone else kind of category. And I feel like she's still going to take play here just because 2 starts back, they're going to see that mile you're talking about and bet her off of that. But the main thing that kind of worries me with her is from that outside post, she could get revved up early. And while that did help her win 2 starts back, it also made her break. She got a little too excited last time by the looks of it. She ended up breaking around that first turn, especially being as wide as she was trying to get to the top. So I have a lot more qualms with her than I do with either Seviorum or Phaetosive. I think they're venerable favorites. There's one horse in this race that I consider a price contender, probably more in the exotics. But, I mean, if under the right circumstances, she, of course, can win. That's Piranha Fury. Looking a couple starts back at Pocono Downs, came flying from off the pace to win a sire stake at 15-1 from Post 8. Since then, was 3rd in that race against Zephyr Kronos and Seviorum 2 starts back. Last out was 2nd to Phaetosive coming from off the pace. She's usually coming from out of it, which makes me think she's more of an exotic contender. But she's still going to be a decent enough price where if things really brew into chaos, I could see her winning. But in more likelihood, the more likely outcome I think is Seviorum and then Phaetosive and that horse in a trifecta. That'd probably be how I play it to at least make some kind of money if you even want to bet the race in the first place. And with that said, we digress from there.
I would bet the 1 if it was me.
Basquiat raced decently last out. She still has to prove something to me, I think.
That's okay. You're going to get paid when she does.
By the way, at the Meadowlands, as they're going to the gate, there's about roughly $15,000 live in the pick 4 to the 1, and like 5,000 to the 4 and 3,000 to the 6, which is who I'm live to.
How about the 3, Ron?
The 3 is right around $1,000.
Let's go 3.
Yeah, I don't have that one, so no.
Yes.
6.
Root
6.
You guys done? Okay.
No, we still got
Feel the
35 minutes.
lining up. If you want to call this race at the same time, don't. Freshman Billy Trotters all heading to the gate, at least they're trying to. In line, in behind, a little shy, but they're off. And trotting, Susie leaves out. Trelawney tried to leave, but Aki's got a lot to hold there around that first turn. Amanda Bluechip also lost stride. We got 2 breakers into that first turn. Amanda Bluechip, Trelawney are off stride of speed. Titan battles for the lead. Gonna get pocket to Susie, while Marvelous Tricks trots into third in front of Checkout Trixie, fourth, moving to the back stretch. Trickster for Kids is then fifth in front of Mansion on the Hill, sixth, moving to the outside. The backfield tightens up a bunch through a 29-second opening quarters, a long ways away back to Amanda Bluechip and Trelawney, who just could not stay trotting, and they are jumping Jubilee in the back of the field. Half-mile bound, Speed Titan circling to the lead as Susie's shown the whip to keep interest in second. A gap of 3.5 then. Marvelous Tricks sits third. Another gap of 2.5 to check out Trixie fourth. Trickster for Kids then's behind that one, fifth. Another gap then to Mansion on the Hill, keeping up, but still a long ways away as Speed Titan. The odds-on favorite passes the half in 59 seconds. A 30-second second quarter moving to the far turn. Susie still shown the whip, 2 lengths away, now beginning to gain some ground on Speed Titan, while check out Trixie moves outside from fourth for T-Trick, trying to gain ground first over. Trickster for Kids on that one's back. Mansion on the Hill still remains the trailer as they move on to 3 quarters. Speed Titan in front here by a length and a half. Susie begins to pull to the outside. Check out Trixie stalled to the outside of Marvelous Tricks, then Trickster for Kids behind that one. 3 quarters, 128. And 4 Speed Titans led from the get-go. Leads into the stretch here. Susie chases to the outside. Check out Trixie's back then in front or behind Marvelous Tricks, with Trickster for Kids rallying down the center of the course. Speed Titan though in deep stretch, holding sway. Sears under a hand drive. Susie's rallying late, but Speed Titan had it measured there. Wins by a neck. That was a long ways back to Trickster for Kids, rallying past Marvelous Tricks for third. 156 and 1. Yeah, Speed Titan went off 3 to 5 there. That really should have been a sign that she was going to be good.
Kind of an interesting drive late, though. He thought he had it, and then the 6th, sort of came.
Oh, no, he knew he had it. He knows where that wire's at.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but it got a little closer than I think he thought it was going to.
Nah, he was wrapped up. He was wrapped up.
I'd watch Trickster for Kids next
Look at him look over.
Yeah, Sears is looking over. He said to Tactor, "You think you're going to win?" Then Tactor goes, "I think I am going to win. I'm going to get past you." And then it's like, then the wire comes. Sears went, "Did you win?" Tactor goes, "No, I did not win. I unfortunately did not get up there. I got sick." That's like the worst Scandinavian accent, too.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Well, no, now that you say it's bad, I think it's good. That was the best Scandinavian accent I've heard since I went to IKEA and I saw the Ricola Man there. 1682. The unofficial order of finish is an inquiry, most likely because every horse that wasn't the top 4 broke in the race. 3 to 5, 4 to 1, 33 to 1, 99 to 1. In that 9th race, I'm out. Pick 4. Did not use favorite.
You didn't use that horse?
No. You suck, jackass. You see, what was great about the sound effects was the fact that I could not hear them. That made it a lot easier for me to tune them out. And to tune them out, because this show is brought to you by the new Subway sandwich. It's not brought to you by the new Subway sandwich.
We got to move on.
This show is definitely not brought to you by Papa John's. This next race we're talking about, I had to get a little passion there because we are not
in no way sponsored by Papa John's. Never. I would never take that money. $181,000.
I would.
Stanley Dancer Memorial, First Division. We got more Hambo eligibles. Oh boy, we got Wolfgang, who's now a Ridgeling in some way. Well, he's a delayed Ridgeling. Hat Trick Habit, he won here last week. Classic Cap went in 51. Oh boy. First things first, though, you got this race goes through Wolfgang. Wolfgang's the favorite. I think he's beatable. I'm sure you guys agree.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, he's definitely beatable. I don't see any horse in here that's going to be a huge favorite. Wolfgang, obviously, coming off the Good Times win, is going to take a bunch of money, and he won pretty handily in that race. But I'm just not... I don't want to say I'm not a fan. I think the horse is good. I don't know if he's over the top of anybody else, especially in this race. This is a very good race. Classic Cap has been razor sharp coming off that win last week against Tactical Landing, who would not go away and is going to be a monster this year. I think he's a must play, and he's going to bring decent value here. And, the other one that's kind of flown a little bit under the radar is the 7 Hat Trick Habit. He's been good. He made that break in the Good Times final. Timmy jumps back on again, coming off that really impressive win last time. And, this is a horse, he's going to be leaving. He's going to be up close, and he's going to have a say in this race no matter what. So, to me, he's going to be the top play with the value play of the 5 Classic Cap with Tron Smedhammer.
Really? You don't think you could bounce?
Who?
Classic Cap.
Off of that race? No, that was a very good race.
All right. Mike, I'm curious if you agree with that.
Oh, I like the 1 quite a bit.
Yeah.
I want to see what this horse is like on the big track. That had no chance in the Bill final and raced extremely well. Just got beat there. This horse has a lot of talent, and finally gets to kind of test himself. Draws perfect. It's going to be maybe from off it just a little bit, but I think that's okay. They're going to mix it up in here. I don't trust anything coming out of straight numbers at 2 into these kind. I don't care what the time the clock says. I'd be more interested in the 7 who at least has faced the top level. But for me, I'd be inside 1-2 all the way.
I agree with Evaluate fully. This horse, of course, I have in the future wager at 22-1, which the next future wager pool will be opening soon. I think it opens the weekend Red Running Aces, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to open that weekend, which is the 9th.
I believe so.
20th. July 20th.
20th.
And it closes the 22nd. I have this horse. After he wins the Stanley Dancer, it's going to go down in the future pool, but I'll have him at 22-1. I've liked this horse from the get-go, and I agree with you, Mike. I'm curious how he is on the bigger track. All signs point to him being somewhat better on the bigger track, especially with the miles he's putting over at Pocono, and especially in the Beal, too. He had a terrible trip there. Still finished 4th. And now he draws inside. He makes a lot of sense to me. If he's not the favorite, I'd still support him in this race. This is a pretty evenly packed field, if you ask me. And I don't know if you are asking me. I'm just presuming you are. Because Wolfgang is definitely vulnerable. I could see Classic Hap. I could see Hat Trick Habit. I could see Zephyr Kronos. Zephyr Kronos has been racing really well, too. He's a horse to watch out for. Maybe in the exotics, if he's ignored from that outside post, he can come flying into contention late. And if you remember, Tackers had horses like this in the past. I think Achille Duodal was like one of them, or Via Italia or IT or whatever the one horse's name was that raced exclusively at the Meadowlands. He was a son of Ready Cash, and then he came into the Hambletonian. I didn't even expect him to come to the Hambletonian, but Zephyr Kronos is on a similar path, and has been racing way better than that horse has. So I can think if pattern serves to pattern, which is how the famous phrase goes, Zephyr Kronos could definitely hit the ticket, I think, at a decent price. And then Thistle Hill, too. I want to see how he does. because he did not look good at all or in the field consolation. I'm curious if he can improve, or if he's just kind of done racing at this level. He's going to be a big price, but he definitely does have the late kick too to be involved, maybe even for the superfecta. They're superfecta. But I agree with you, Mike, on evaluate. My evaluation leads to evaluate. Yes. Mistletoe Chalise right after that. 12 horses going postward. Mile and an eighth race with Kissin in the Sand, who went off 4-1 in the Lynch final. Don't know how that happened, but she parked the whole way, still won, beat You Are My Candy Girl by a NAHU, adds Lasix for the second time out. And there's 10 other horses here. This is usually a pretty wide open race. And I think you can get a good price out of here. I don't know if you guys agree.
Who do you like, Ray?
Who do I like? I'm asking you guys first.
Oh, that's such a cop-out.
Be courteous.
All right, I'll start it. I'll start it. I think a nice value play here is the 4 Believe in Me. Jumps up out of the non-winners at 2 and 3. Got beat by a good horse last time. Closed in 27, a mile and 49 in a piece. I think that race alone deserves for this horse to be respected in this field. Obviously, this group, excuse me, is a little more tough than that last one. But coming off of that race, it's tough for me to ignore it. I mean, it was a good tightener for this and gets Dave Miller to drive. It's Pelling. Pelling is going to have his fillies ready for races like this, and she's a well-bred filly. So, I think the step up, she's faced stakes competition before. She was third in the Lismore. I see no reason why this horse can't get there at a big price. And, really the key is just going to be trying to get a trip in here.
Now, Mike, if I recall, you're a bit hesitant on my whole price angle. Do you really think the favorites are that tough?
I do, because a lot of these horses, like Rod, he's trying to take horses out of straight numbers at 2 against a horse like the 7 who's made $1 million, and it's going to be on the front. And the front wasn't the place to be at Pocono that night, and this horse raced her guts out first time Lasix. I'm not quite sure she's as dominant as she was last year, talking about You Are My Candy Girl, but she's good enough to beat these, and she's certainly good enough to beat a horse that just raced the numbers at 2 and couldn't win. Kissing in the Sand is right there with her. I mean, these are the 2 class animals of the race. A lot of these other horses are struggling against, sire stakes or, lower level stake races. If you look at a horse like the 11, Alexis Power had a perfect trip in that Lynch final and still could only manage third against these 2. I just think it's difficult to take horses against. But, I mean, they obviously have to improve, but these others 2 have to regress. I'm not really interested in betting much in the race unless the 7 is above 3-1.
I feel like if there is enough speed early on, it can set up for at least a couple, and some of them are the ones that I kind of liked in the Lynch, but I kind of disagree, Mike. It seemed like horses that were a bit closer did a lot better than off the pace, except Springsteen, because that race totally collapsed after Lather Up broke.
There were other closers that won that night. But go ahead. Just go ahead.
But I'm trigger happy for one. Definitely seemed at a disadvantage that Lynch final. And what's interesting is there was another horse that I liked out of there, Double A Mint, who went on to race the Natty Lobel over at Hoosier during the week last week and raced decently to finish second there chasing horses. The only downside is this filly has the 10-hole now, but that's going to force her to have to race from off the pace, presumably. And she has a late kick, which seems better suited for a bigger track, as shown in the Natty Lobel. So I think she can certainly hit the ticket. I think I'm trigger happy is a great long shot to use underneath, considering in that Van Hanover final, she had the outside draw. She was trailing 21 lengths, and she gained 18 of those to finish 6th. That was a decent mile she put in there. And then in the Lynch final, was caught behind stalled horses, couldn't really progress and dropped back, finished 8th there in that race. But Alexa's Power is kind of interesting because she was 3rd and she did have a decent trip in the Lynch final. But I don't necessarily think that she's not of this caliber. I think a lot of things. But she's legitimate against this group, I'd imagine. And I do imagine.
Yeah.
That's all I really...
Great. Well, that was wonderful.
With a race like this, you have 2 obvious horses.
Go for a price.
I was going to say, this entire race is looking at the board and price shopping. Where you see, oh, I'm trigger happy 7-1? Well...
No, it's not price shopping, it's value shopping.
They're nearly one and the same.
Yeah.
Wow, Man-Willing is 30-1 here at the Meadowlands, and that's ridiculous.
Moving on.
But Stanley Dancer's 2nd division gathers 4th Dimension off his break in the Beal elimination. You know you do off a 2nd place finish to Muscle Diamond, and I think was a track record performance. 6-pack? 6-pack's the morning line favorite? I guess so. He was 2nd in the Beal final. I'm just so used to this horse not being one that I think can win, at least at this level. Last week as an example, or 2 weeks ago as an example. But he probably will be the favorite because he just has so many other wins under his belt. But this I think is the more contentious of the 2 Stanley Dancer divisions. Because first things first, I don't like 6-pack at all. I think he's an awful price. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm against him, especially as the favorite. I don't think he's going to go off the favorite. I honestly think that the 3, You Know You Do, is probably going to be the favorite just based off that last mile. But with that being said, the horse I like, the horse that I've liked since before the qualifier, and Ray, you can attest to this because I bet him in the future bet, the 4 Taekwondo. Came over from Sweden. He qualified. I bet him before his qualifier. I think this horse, 2nd start, he's going to improve even more. Jordan's coming back to drive him, Jordan Stratton. Definitely going to be a factor on the Hambo trail leading up to the Hambo in the next couple weeks. And, he's going to have a few starts under his belt in the U.S., and I think he's going to be very dangerous, and you might see a humongous mile from this horse tomorrow, being that it's a 2nd start.
You know, Mike, why do I have a hunch that you like Alarm Detector?
I do? How'd you know?
It was just a hunch.
Oh my god, how can you not like him?
Many reasons. The good times being most of them, and the Beal elimination being another.
Well, I mean, I think you could pitch that race. The good times, rough trip in the final. This horse has won 7 out of 10. You're going to get a price here. He's proven that he can win these big spots. This year has not been kind to him. I agree with that. But, he raced decent in the good times of Lim. Beat $50 Bill is a nice horse. Was roughed up in the final. Broke in the Bill elimination. Okay, get rid of that. The horse is coming in fresh against, some horses that are a bit unproven. I mean, the 2 broke last time. The 6 coughed it up on the front last time. And it's going to face pressure. I think the 3's worth playing also, depending on the price, only because, Muscle Diamond is a legitimate, older, open horse. And this horse raced really well in that race, even though the track was souped up and the fast times were crazy. This horse has done little wrong this year. Made $375,000 last year. Draws well. Has been given a little bit of time, at least missed a week off that huge effort. and I don't mind that race. I feel like the price is going to be there, especially with the money coming for the 2, coming for the 8, coming for the 4. The 2 prices I would be interested in are the 3 and the 5.
I got one price and one price only in that race. Fashion Wood Chopper. This horse was flying home in the Beal final to finish 5th, and he had to circumvent horses breaking that horse being Manchego into the stretch. And before that, parked the mile in the elimination. This horse, he seems like he wants to get on the bigger track. Look back May 11th, finished 3rd to Atlanta and Celebrity Ruth, and that's all I have to say to that one. Mile and an 1/8 Hamiltonian Maturity is next, 7th race on the Meadowlands Pace program. Ariana G, morning line favorite. First things first, I did not expect her to rebound as well as she did in that graduate final. That's the Ariana I remember seeing back on Hamiltonian Day. And so now, do we just move on to the Meadowlands Pace? Like, do any of these horses stand a legitimate chance?
No. After what I saw last week, she's back. I mean, he never even
I don't mind
asked
her at all. I don't know how you can ignore that horse off the 3 for 3. Sutton just crushed a field, here a couple minutes ago, and this horse, was 3 to 5 against that one. I realized
small track.
that it's not Ariana, but this horse is racing, and this horse came from off of it, 2 back at Tioga in the graduate. There's nothing wrong with that race. There's nothing wrong with this horse.
I agree with
you. Could get a price.
I agree with that.
We're not beating Ariana G.
Okay, well, last week we couldn't stand her. Didn't think she was going to do anything. And,
yeah. Did you watch?
Broke the one record. I don't know. We didn't like her the week before.
Rod's always like this with the females. They just have to do one nice thing, and he swoons over them.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'm not. This is not a race that I would play, though. I mean, I think Ariana G is the horse to beat. She's going to be 1 to 5, and if you find somebody to beat her,
well, if you can give me 5 to 1 on the 1, I definitely am interested. I think that's great value on a horse that's done nothing wrong so far this year and won 8 times last year.
Otters are lining up. 10th race at the Meadowlands. We'll talk more about this after this. Winning Habit, swerving a touch, the rest on gate. At the start of their off, Sovereign Deo leaving from the outside, as is Star Trek Hanover to the center. Inside, Brady Bunch with Super Shizzle and high into the sky around the first turn, floating for position. Going for the top Star Trek Hanover, just like that off stride. Sovereign Deo inherits the lead. Super Shizzle sits pocket while Brady Bunch brushes up to take the lead, with Montevideo getting away 4th in front of High Into the Sky, 5th Man Willing. Trot 6th in front of Winning Habit. Then it's back to Alternative Fact. Star Trek Hanover last of all. Moving to the backside, Brady Bunch a length and a half in front of Sovereign Deo 2nd. Super Shizzle's 3rd. Off a 28 and 3 opening quarter, passing 3/8. Montevideo remains 4th in front of High Into the Sky, trotting 5th, and Man Willing back in 6th. Winning Habit 7th, as Alternative Fact rounds out the field on trot, on gate. They pass the half. 59 seconds. 30 and 2 that second quarter, moving to the far turn. Brady Bunch in front by 2. Sovereign Deo keeps up 2nd. Gap of 2.5. Super Shizzle trying to close in 3rd, with Montevideo 4th, now tightening as Winning Habit advances outside uncovered to 3/4. Alternative Fact on his back. Man Willing shuffled to be last, right in behind High Into the Sky, as Brady Bunch leads them to 3/4. Sovereign Deo plugs pulled as Super Shizzle angles to the outside from 3rd. Room for Montevideo to slip up the inside, while Brady Bunch goes by 3/4, 128 and 4. Sovereign Deo swoops out of the pocket and is trying to slingshot by the favorite, coming down to the 8th pole. Sovereign Deo now draws alongside Brady Bunch and takes a narrow lead. Super Shizzle's back in 3rd, with Montevideo battling for 4th. Sovereign Deo, though, has now taken the front and strolls home a length to the leader. Brady Bunch 2nd. Then for 3rd, Super Shizzle from Montevideo in 156 and 3. So Guardian Angel odds would be decent value at 5 to 1.
I agree with that. This horse had my eye ever since he parked the mile in the Hamiltonian. That was a big mile he put in. And then he just didn't have a chance to really round out the season the way I think they wanted to. And he's come back very sharp. There's nothing wrong with him. Ariana has a chance to bounce. She's going to be the favorite. Like, if she's
not the same as she was.
Yeah, there's not much else to say that. Guardian Angels Farms, Meadowlands Pace. The Crawford Farms, Meadowlands Pace. $701,000 stakes race, the marquee event tomorrow evening at the Meadowlands. 10 horses going postward in this final. Courtly Choice, morning line favorite. Stay Hungry, second choice. Those are the two elimination winners. What do we think? Anything extraneous?
I'm going back to Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Absolutely.
One for Jimmy. Anyone else?
The horse I did like a little bit was Dorsa Duro until he drew post 10. So I'm going to go against him, and I'm going to go to the 3,
Wasn't
American
the price
History.
Bigger now? I mean, why be against him?
The 10 hole. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm against him. I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as keen as playing him now since he has a 10 hole. It's a bad spot.
He was in the 8 hole last time. I mean, if you like him, it only improves your price.
I like him. I think he'll hit the ticket somewhere. But
I think a lot of these.
It's going to be a similar trip as last time. It's tough. It really is tough. It's a tough spot. American History for me. That's who I like. He had pace last time, was just begging for room late, and raced well once he shook loose. He wins that race if he gets out. So that's going to be my average value play there.
A lot of these horses had pace. What about Think Big, Dream Big? Came him in 25-2 to finish third in that Stay Hungry Hanover elimination. You got to think he has a shot off that mile, unless you think that was a one-time effort.
No, he raced well there. I don't mind quite a few horses in here.
This is a wide open Meadowlands Pace, if you ask me.
Yeah.
This seems very similar to the Mistletoe Chalet, where it's you gotta look at the board and see what's calling to you. Jimmy,
you have to like the 6-back off of.
Oh yeah.
Taking out of his normal closing style, they put him on the front and he faltered. Gets Lasix now. It's going to be a price again because after that race, and they're going to bet so many other horses in the race.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong with him whatsoever if he's driven. If Sears takes him back and puts him in play that way, I like him a lot better than I liked him last time.
No, I agree. Like Nutcracker Sweet, I think has a shot. Think Big, Dream Big, I think has a shot. Jimmy Freight, I think has a shot. Courtly Choice has a shot. This is fairly wide open. The one thing I can say is this is the plan. Probably not. He's not my type. Of course, in theory, he has a chance to win, but not really swinging on my boat.
Well, my top play immediately following eliminations last week was Dorsa Duro. I'm still going to use him even from post 10. Not as heavily, but I'm still going to use him. And he's second-time Lasix.
Well, the one question I have is Courtly Choice seems so much the best last time. I know Jimmy Freight went on the lead. That may not have been, him revving himself up that way may not have been in his best interest. But when you look at this race, you think, oh, Courtly Choice has to win. So I guess, what is the case against him?
The case again, I mean, he's got the right post. He's got kind of everything going for him. It looks like this race, he doesn't have early speed, so maybe he's first over. That could be the factor here, because he's going to have to move if he doesn't get parked a mile. He might have to sit outside the whole way, depending on what horses outside of him do. And if that's the case, then they're going to be going really fast the whole way around. And I don't think he gets there. I think it sets up for a closer at that point.
And that's the hope. Ninth race, Golden Girls. We click into the final 6 minutes of this show. 12 horses in this Golden Girls. This race, basically, first things first, 12 horses, Sharton, does she just go to the lead and do what she always does?
She's just so good right now.
Yeah, it's tough to go against her right now.
Off a month.
I mean,
But she had the qualifier.
Qualifier was first mile in a month.
Yeah, it was good.
LA Delight's been racing well.
I'm
she
not
hasn't
going.
liked to win that much. I mean, at least not recently.
For 58.
I'm not going.
A lot of those wins came in 1 year.
Yeah.
Pen Pal.
I mean, so
Pen Pal.
no, oh God, no.
Not from there. Not from that spot. That's a bad spot.
I mean, it feels like that a lot of these top ones have taken a step back, and she's taken a step forward, and that's really created a lot of separation, between her and the others. And I mean, the one is, right there with her.
I'll give you a little bit of a price play here. The 8 Pure Country. She comes back to the Meadowlands. She loves this racetrack. She does draw outside. I think she's going to leave. And if she does, she could be in a really nice spot. And even like the 7 Diva's Image coming from that same series over at Pocono. This one, more or less, her style of racing fits the Meadowlands better, I think. And she could be a nice price play to throw on exotic plays.
No, the nicer one would be LA Delight, but I get where you're coming from. LA Delight's in like the exact same boat
Yeah.
as Pure Country, but will be a better price.
No,
Keep
LA
in mind-
Delight's going to take more money.
You think so?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, if you like that horse, how can you not like the 7?
The 7? Oh, because the 7 is the 7. I was in this discussion a long time ago. One of your buddies, when we were talking Kentucky Derby, I was a fan of Lone Sailor, and he said, well, if you like Lone Sailor, then you got to like Noble Indy. Noble Indy won the Louisiana Derby, beat Lone Sailor. And I said, no, you don't. Lone Sailor ran the better race than Noble Indy, in my opinion, so I could care less what Noble Indy does. I'm kind of in that boat here. Diva's Image did beat LA Delight last out, but Diva's Image does not seem to be of the same form LA Delight has been in. And I give LA Delight a bit more credit because of how well she raced in the Roses Are Red. And given this is a mile and 1/8 race and how the race could set up, I think she has an advantage over Diva's Image.
Okay.
That's the case. The William Houghton's the next mile and 1/8. We got 12 more big boys in this one. But McWicked is, oh, jeez. McWicked is McWicked. However, does he regress off that race? He was explosive at Pocono.
He was crazy good at Pocono.
I like him better.
Closers won that night apparently, but. I mean, that's the thing. Like, anything that comes out of my mouth, especially bias related, like, you automatically go the other way.
Well, no, because
that's a whole another thing.
I agree with you with everything you say, except that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not true. It's not at all.
I think Sintra has an interesting chance, just because he's much better on a bigger track. He was loaded in the elimination, had to basically go off the racetrack, then had no chance in the 7-hole. He gets a much better setup in here, and he's going to be a decent price, so I would be on the 8.
Well, I see two things here that I'm kind of surprised by. Number one, I thought you'd give Filibuster Hanover another chance with the better draw.
Yeah, my problem is that he needed to be better in that last race, and he wasn't. I really liked him there. He just was awful. I mean, why didn't they leave with the horse? I just don't understand that trip whatsoever. I mean, I guess you could throw that out. I don't know. I don't know what to think of him, to be honest.
But then there's also Heaven Rocks coming in off of what Rod described as the worst trip
of all time.
Yeah,
it was awful. I know, because I bet 50 to win on him.
Excluding when Columbus came over on his ships and everyone contracted syphilis. That was not that was not even close.
Something looked wrong. Like, Rod, did you think something was wrong with the way it was rigged or something that night? I mean, it was just terrible.
I don't know what happened there. There was something off. He sat outside. He went 3-4 deep around the last turn. Like it was brutal to just watch. Even if you didn't bet the horse, it was brutal to watch.
I know I bet him was brutal.
Yeah, so did I. he should come back to form. And if you watch that race, watch that replay, you'll see what we're talking about, and you're probably going to bet him as well.
I see two things here that aren't that horse because I mean that horse is probably gonna be a better price than he was in the Franklin, so he may very well even be value in this race. So I don't blame you guys for that. Well, first things first, don't tell me again's gonna be so overbet here off that win. I'm not even looking at him. I'm looking at two horses. Delta Winner, post 10. Horse loves to come from off the pace. If they go really fast, this is his setup without a doubt. He went first over last time in the Franklin Constellation, and that threw him off completely. That's not his style. And he's not going to race well off that. But then All Bets Off also went first over in the Franklin Final. And this horse usually hasn't been his best on a big track, but he could also just pocket up, sit inside, get into contention, and just kind of rally home to at least hit the ticket. But on the win end, I really think Delta Winner is going to be heavily overlooked just from post 10. I think this horse has a great chance if they really blast each other on the front, which is possible, especially in this division. And finally, I know we're over, but Manchego in the Del Miller Memorial Second Division. Do you even try to beat her? I think Plunge Blue Chip can beat her, but other than that, I don't really know.
I'm not a huge fan of the race.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat her. I don't see trying to beat her here. It's a short field. I think you're probably wasting your money trying to beat her.
All right, that does it for another edition of North American Harness Update. Mike and Rod are still alive in the late pick 4 at the Meadowlands. Mike to the 4 and the 8, Rod to the 1, 8, and 10. We unfortunately have to stop with our
I'm not paying too bad, to be honest.
However,
mine are good other than the 8.
Keep in mind, too, at the end of the card, the Meadowlands, a guaranteed high 5 payout. I have contenders listed over at NAHUPicks.com. That's NAHUPICKS.com. You can also find racing analysis every race day from Mike for Woodbine Mohawk Park and from Rod at Running Aces. And then we interchange for the Meadowlands racetrack. I'm batting this weekend, and I will have analysis up for tomorrow's card at the Meadowlands and on NAHUPicks.com too. You can catch replays of this show. And keep in mind too, next Sunday, July 22nd, live from Running Aces Casino track. But I have been Ray Catolo, they're Mike Prebosi and Rod Allums Jr. And wherever the red fern may grow, don't you dare uproot it, because that might be the last thing you ever know.